Good afternoon. I go by the name of Mr. Rabebe Sizwe, and today we will be covering some of the topics in analytical geometry from grade 12. Here we are going to be dealing with a circle and the equation of a circle. This is the basic format of the equation of a circle, where A represents the x coordinate of the center. X coordinate of the center, and B represents the y coordinate of the center, and R represents the radius. Here we will be looking at some of the examples of what questions to expect when dealing with the circle, when dealing with analytical geometry. Here the question says determine the equation of a circle with the following information given. Number 1, the center is located at the origin and has a radius of 5. When they say the center is located at the origin, they mean that both the y and the x coordinate of the center are 0, 0. The origin is the origin of the Cartesian plane, where the y-axis and the x-axis intersect. Knowing this information, we know that the basic format of the formula of a circle is this. Is x minus a bracket all squared plus y minus b bracket all squared, all equals to radius squared. This is the basic format, and for the information given, we can substitute the information given into this formula. We know that a is the x coordinate of the center, and we know the center of the circle is located at the origin, and the origin coordinates are 0, 0. So here it is 0 all squared plus y minus 0 all squared, and radius, we have been given the radius here as 5 all squared. Given this information, we know that anything minus 0 remains the same, so the final answer will be x squared plus y squared is equals to 25. You can pause the video and write this down. The second question says determine the equation of the circle again with the following information given. The coordinate of the diameter AB are as follows. This is the information that we are given. We are given the coordinates of the diameter. So we already know what we must do. The basic format for the equation of a circle is A is x minus A all squared plus y minus b all squared, all equals to r squared. Thank you very much. With this information given, we know in order for us to get the coordinates of the origin, we must first know the center, which is the radius. And when we are given the diameter, we know the coordinates of the center will be the midpoint of A and B. So in order for us to calculate the midpoint, we will use the midpoint formula, which is x, which is, let me check here first, which is x, y plus x 2 all over 2. This is the midpoint for the x coordinates, and then y 1 plus y 2 all over 2. And when we substitute our information, here are the coordinates that we are going to supply, that we are going to apply here. You can start with B, or you can start with A. It is your choice. I'm going to start with A. So we know the x coordinate of A is 7 plus 11 all over 2, and then y1 will be 10. Since y2 has a negative sign, it will also affect the positive sign here. It will be minus 2 all over 2. And this will give us 18 over 2 and 8 over 2, which will give us 9 and 4. These are the coordinates of the radius point. So after we find the coordinates of the radius, it will be easy for us to determine the length of the radius. So by determining the length of the radius, we can use the distance formula. The distance formula, you can choose to the distance in order for us to know the length of the radius. We can choose to calculate. You can choose to calculate it with the distance formula. You can choose to calculate the distance of the diameter and divide it by 2, or you can choose any point A and the origin and calculate the distance of that, and it will give us the length of the radius. For me personally, I choose to calculate it with the values which are already given to us, so that if we made a mistake here, it does not carry on to the next step. So the distance formula is as follows. It is x1 minus x2 brackets plus y1 minus y2 brackets. Can I just check if they are squared? The brackets are all squared. With this given, I'm going to choose the coordinates of A and B. A being my first coordinate. I will take the x from it, which will be 7 minus 11 all squared plus 10. This negative 2 will therefore change this sign of the negative, and it will be plus 2 all squared, and all of this root, and the root of all of it. And then with this, we can just plug it in our calculator, which will give us this answer. It will give us 4 root 10. The reason I'm leaving this in set form is because I do not want to exclude some of the decimals which are important for the last part. So now that we have the distance of the diameter, we can divide the distance of the diameter by 2. Diameter is equals to the radius is equals to the diameter divided by 2, and we already have the diameter here, which is 4 root 10 divided by 2. It is going to give us 2 root 10. This is the radius. Now that we have the coordinates of the center and we also have the coordinates of the radius, we can use this information and substitute this information in this equation in the basic format of the formula of a circle. Can I remove this? Thank you. So with this information given, we know that the coordinate of the center is this. Now we substitute it. X minus a is the x coordinate of the center is 9 all squared plus y minus b, which is the y coordinate of the center all squared, is equals to the radius. The radius is 2 root 10 all squared, and from this here is the final answer. Is equals to 4. Let me just first check with my colleagues, which will give us, yes, 40. You can just put them in your calculator. It will give us 40. Yes, now we have solved this question. Finally, I want us to look at an example where the equation of the circle is given, but it is not given in a form which we are used to. Let me take this example. Let me take this example here. We will call this question 3. We determine the circle with the following information given. May I just please take this and write down the question. We are going to solve this one by using a method called completing a square. Because as you can see, this is not quite in this format. And in order for us to put it in this basic format of a circle, we will have to complete a square. And this is how you complete a square. You're going to group the variables with x. The x's are going to group with one another, and the y's are going to group with one another. This being said, we're going to do it like this: x squared plus 2x plus, we're going to take the value of the 2 in front of the x, 2, we are going to divide it by 2, and we're going to square it, plus y squared minus 4y. We're going to take the value of this 4, and we're going, because it has a negative sign in front of it, we're going to include that negative sign here. We're going to say plus negative 4 divided by 2 all squared, all equals to this 2. These 2 steps that we did here, we must also take them to the right hand side and add them. It's going to be 2 over 2 all squared plus negative 4 over 2 all squared. So with this, it is going to give us x squared plus 2x plus 2 over 2 we know is 1, and I'm going to leave this square here so that you can understand my final answer. And y squared minus 4 plus -4 divided by 2 is equals to -2 all over -4 over -2 is equal -4 over divided by 2 is equals to -2, and then we still square this. This side is going to give us, you can punch it in your calculator. Let me quickly punch it into my calculator. It is going to give us because this one plus 9 plus 2 over 2 all squared is going to give us 1, and this one is going to give us -2 squared, which is 4, and then 4 plus 1 plus 9 is equals to 14. And now we come this side. After doing this, we just factorize, and then it is going to be like this: x plus 1 all squared plus y squared minus 2 all squared is equals to 14. The reason I left the squares is because you can be able to see that it is factorizable. Let me check it here. Yes. We can now determine anything, like we can determine the center of the circle. If we were to be asked what is the center of the circle would be, the coordinate of the center of the circle would be -1, and then the y would be 2. From this formula, we are able to get there. This concludes the lesson.